Pelvic floor. I know pelvic floor is mostly talked about for pregnant ladies exercise, but anyone who wants maximum exercise performance with minimum injury risk should be concerned if their pelvic floor is not working well. I'll explain why. For pregnant ladies, definitely pelvic floor is really important. Okay, the research is such that about 30% of people cannot actually feel pelvic floor contractions. That means that they don't even know if the pelvic floor is working or not. And if pelvic floor is not working well, pregnant ladies tend to have more risk of back pain as well as urinary incontinence, right? You can't hold back pee. And also the average labor time for women with good and poor pelvic floor function was also studied, and women who have poor pelvic floor function on average have about 40 minutes longer average labor. So for pregnant ladies, training your pelvic floor really important. But for men and for ladies who are not pregnant, the pelvic floor is also important because it helps to protect the spine. You probably know that when people are going to exert really heavily, or they're going to lift something heavy, or they're going to move very fast, they will breathe in into their belly and their waist. And this air in the belly and waist is like a car tire. Okay? The car tire is full of air and it's very stiff and firm. This stiffness and firmness helps protect the spine. It's called intra-abdominal pressure. Another way of thinking of it is that your torso is like a Coke can. From the diaphragm, which is the top of the Coke can, to the side of the Coke can, which is your abs, the different components of the abs, to the bottom of the Coke can, which is your pelvic floor, all the components need to work properly. Otherwise, it's like having a can that has a hole in it. You can even try this at home. I've done it before in front of live audiences, and you can actually step on a Coke can. I'm about 81 to 83 kilograms, so I step on a Coke can, no problem. But once you open the can, you can no longer step on the can because the air pressure is lost. The can is no longer stable. You step on it, it gets crushed. The same thing is true when this can of your torso is leaking. It doesn't matter if you have a weak diaphragm, abs, or pelvic floor. If there's a leak, the can doesn't work. You can't maintain the pressure and you can't stabilize your torso and spine as much as you should. The intra-abdominal pressure is also very important for stabilizing the position of your shoulder blades. So it's important for both lower and upper body exercises. So oftentimes for us who like exercise, we do spend time training the abs. We do spend time focusing on breathing correctly with the belly and the torso instead of the chest. So these train the diaphragm and the abs. But how many times do you see athletic, fit, strong people working on the pelvic floor? It could be a missing link in the stability of the torso and an increased risk for injury for no reason. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to train the pelvic floor and activate it. I know there are many videos on how to activate the pelvic floor, and they're missing something in my opinion. They're missing activating it precisely. What they normally ask you to do is to sit down and imagine holding in your pee. But the problem is the pelvic floor, when you look at the anatomy, is not just one muscle. It's actually, from the top view, you're looking down, it's a ring of muscles, like a plate. So you must be able to activate all the different components properly. It could be that when you just do sitting down and activation, holding in urine, that only trains the ones that you're good at. There could be angles which you are not good at, and that could still be allowing you to have a weak pelvic floor. Also, sitting down is a relatively easy posture to activate the pelvic floor in. For us who are more interested in injury prevention or exercise or sports performance, we want to be able to do it in the harder posture, which is standing up. Okay, so sitting down is fine if a woman is, third trimester, very big, very heavy, very uncomfortable to move around too much. No problem, activate while sitting down. So instead of just sitting down, we're going to do this standing up, which is a more athletic, more useful, functional posture. And also we're going to try and activate 4 quadrants of the pelvic floor individually. The front left, front right, rear left, and rear right. Okay? Now you will be able to see which quadrant you have weakness in. You won't be able to feel that contraction. And so you can spend more time or do more reps on the weak part. Also, besides this exercise, there are points on your body which you can rub to activate the pelvic floor muscles. They are on the hip bone, okay, below the hip crest. Right here, I'm going to show you now. The place to rub is below your hip bone, about here. You can feel there's usually like 2 small notches here. Somewhere around there, just rub this general area and it helps many people to activate the pelvic floor. Do it for about 15 seconds, gentle rubs across the skin. The best time to do these exercises is in between sets or as part of your warm-up. So, because it's an activation exercise, you want to activate the muscle and completely relax in between. This will teach your brain to turn on the muscle. If you just hold it and squeeze and never relax, to the brain that could be seen as one rep only. One chance to turn on the muscle, one chance to practice. But if you're going to do activation, you want to activate, completely relax. Activate, completely relax. You do many times, then the brain gets to practice turning on the muscle many times. Also, when you do this exercise, when you activate, you squeeze for about 2 seconds before you relax. So this will give you the time you need under tension. The muscle is activated and you need this to build the muscle itself. But you also do it multiple times with complete relaxation, and this gives the brain the chance to turn on the muscle many times. So now to activate the pelvic floor in the different quadrants, you want to stand in a lunge or semi-lunge posture. From this position, you can put your weight, of course, slightly more to the front leg and slightly more to the back leg. When you change legs, again, you could put your weight more to the front leg or more to the back leg. When you put your weight more to the front leg, you are activating the front half of the pelvic floor more. Also, the thing you're thinking about can change slightly. I'll demonstrate, okay? So let's say I wanted to activate my left side, front, left pelvic floor. I would put my left leg in front, I would put more weight onto the left leg, the front leg, and I would imagine I have pee and I don't want to let it out. So I will imagine holding in the pee. Alright? Relax. Hold in the pee, relax. Hold in, relax. Now, I could also do my right side rear leg. So I would shift my weight to the back, but now, instead of holding in pee, I would actually try to hold in a fart. Okay, you want to pass gas, but you don't want to let it out? Hold in the fart. Relax. Hold. Relax. Try not to use your butt muscle, okay? It's not butt training. You're trying to use the pelvic floor muscle in between your pelvis right here. So if you feel your butt contracting, try to focus more on the pelvic floor, okay? Hold in the fart. Relax. Hold it in. Relax. With your weight more on the back leg. Now, of course, after that, you'll change leg. Now I'll be leaning forward, putting more weight on that front leg. Hold in the pee. Front leg, hold in pee, lean back, weight on the back leg, hold in a fart. Okay? So in this way, you will be able to get all 4 quadrants of the pelvic floor activated in a more precise way. And you can probably have a feeling of which quadrant you yourself might be a bit weak in. And of course, if you're weak in that quadrant, you do more reps, spend more time on that quadrant. In the beginning, maybe you just do 10 reps for each quadrant. But once you find that one of them is weaker than the other, you could maybe do 5 to 8 reps on the ones that are already okay. You can feel the strong contraction. But maybe 15 to 20 reps on the one that you feel is not strong at contracting. So I believe if you do this as part of your warm-up and in between sets, especially if you find that some of these 4 quadrants are feeling weaker than others, it will help you strengthen the pelvic floor. It will increase the strength of your intra-abdominal pressure, which stabilizes your spine, stabilizes your shoulder, and reduces your injury risk. Hope you found this video useful. For more science-based content to help improve your fitness, strength, and health, please subscribe.